Hello, everyone. Welcome to our fourth and final installment of Dualities and Developments. We're going to check out our final piece, which is from the Romantic era by Franz Schubert, his unfinished Symphony number 8. The first movement is, of course, in Sonata Allegro form, which is exactly what we've been talking about this entire time. This one is going to have some interesting deviations to it. I'll let you know going in that this is arguably a three-themed Sonata Allegro form, where the initial theme that we hear is actually the introduction. So the introduction is made into a thematic idea all on its own, and part of the reason that we're able to even define it as a thematic idea is because it has monophonic texture, as our introductions typically do. It's longer. It's not just like an incomplete musical idea like Beethoven, but it instead also makes an appearance in the development section and, of course, the recapitulation. Because we have arguably three themes in our Sonata Allegro form, this piece is going to be significantly longer than the other ones that we've listened to. Especially because the exposition involves a literal repeat of our three thematic ideas. So without further ado, I'm going to pull up our whiteboard, which has the prototypical diagram, and make annotations and changes to it as we hear them occur. So in this case, like I said, some of the changes are actually going to happen in the exposition, but Schubert is going to make it as clear to us as possible by repeating those ideas. We're still going to have a couple of deviations in the recapitulation, but when our ideas return, it's going to be a little bit more predictable, because we did have variation earlier on in the standard form. So let me go ahead and pull up our whiteboard and we'll take a listen to Schubert's Unfinished Symphony number 8. Okay, here we go. So this is our introduction. We're hearing low strings. Here's our theme 1. In this case, we're hearing a woodwind solo with a string accompaniment. Which happens to be, again, the horn. Here's our beginning of theme 2. Again, much like the Beethoven, we have similarities in terms of what we're going for in moodiness. We have this sort of upset beginning section and the sort of happier and lighter second theme. So the strings have the melody here. And then we have like a pizzicato or plucked accompaniment. Theme 2 is actually rather long as well. It took a while for us to get to our indeed does include our introduction. Where we're still here. That idea is being passed to the woodwind. We're making our final moves as a cadence. That's going to push us back to the introduction. So we're here. Here we go. We're back on our theme 1. We're listening to a woodwind solo with strings accompanying. This one happens to be in compound time, and it's been in compound time the entire time. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Here's our bridge. And we're back at theme 2. As we recall, theme 2 is quite long, but features the strings being the melody, bowed, of course, and then we have a pizzicato, a plucked accompaniment. The next thing that we're going to be listening to is, of course, the development section. But because our exposition has indeed included 3 kind of thematic ideas, we're curious about perhaps one thing. Are we going to hear the introduction again at the beginning of the recapitulation, or is it going to be elsewhere? By the way, still in theme 2. So we are either going to hear a monophonic introduction at the beginning of our recap, or the theme 1, this woodwind solo with the string accompaniment that we heard during the exposition. We're coming into our cadence. And we're moving now into our development section. In this case, our development section is now also going to include introduction versus theme 1 versus theme 2. Theme 2 as an idea is going to be a little less represented because it was really rather long in the exposition. And also will continue to be rather long when we eventually hear it again in our recapitulation. In the meantime, we're going to hear lots of heterophonic texture, which we're already hearing. This is of theme 1 material. I'm sorry. This is of introductory material. theme or theme 1. So far, we've heard a lot of our introductory theme. Is winding down. So let's see if our hypothesis was correct. Are we going to hear the introduction or theme 1? This definitely sounds like theme 1 material. Okay, maybe we're going to hear the introduction then here, after theme 2. That would make sense. We heard a lot of the introduction in the development section. Really not a lot of it in theme 2 in the development section. Ooh, my whiteboard has stopped working. Let's see. How do I fix this? 1 moment. Okay, let's sorry, I want you to be able to see my whiteboard. Let me. Okay, so we're back. We're here in theme 1 in our recapitulation. Like I said, we didn't hear our monotonic intro. There we go, we're at the bridge. So we might hear the introduction after we hear what we're listening to right now, which is theme 2. As we recall, theme 2 is rather long. So we're not going to, this is one of the reasons why we did not hear much in terms of the theme 2 idea within the development section. So the introduction, if we're talking about proportions, this was maybe like, 10% of what we listened to. This was like easily, oh gosh, it was like 60% of what we listened to, right? So this was a mere 30%, which is why we heard so much of these 2 ideas in the development section. So I'm sure our hypothesis is going to probably check out, but this is the big question that we have. of the melody that we hear. As we heard it over here, theme 2 really well kicks off our motion back into our introduction, which I think Schubert is going to make the most of right here in the transition to our coda. Yep, here we go. Introduction theme. So we'll hear that one more time and then probably move to a coda where we alternate between the tonic and dominant harmonies. Than we heard it in the exposition. All right, now we're going to hear our closing chords. 1, 5, 1. Very good. Excellent. So that's a fun deviation from our prototypical sonata allegro form. In this case, our introduction was made into a thematic idea all onto its own. Part of the reason why we can make that argument is because we heard it a second time in the repeat of the exposition. We also heard it again in the development section, and of course, again in the recapitulation. It didn't kick off our recapitulation, but served as a really, really clever way of getting us into a coda. Wonderful. So hopefully you have a little bit of greater appreciation for musical form and structure. We're going to, of course, encounter form in different kinds of ways. This is a particularly elaborate form that, again, is generally the form that's used in the first movement of the symphonic form, but there are a variety of other ways of representing musical ideas. The form and structure of pieces, like I said, really necessitates repeated listenings. So one of the essential parts of this particular lecture is to listen to each of these. We only had 3 listening examples for today's lecture, to listen to these 3 pieces in their entirety one more time with the diagrams that I made. I'm going to have my whiteboard slides in Blackboard for you to check out, but probably best to listen to it one more time with my video annotations. So, wonderful. I look forward to seeing you guys for our next lecture. We'll take on another topic regarding form and function. But I will see you guys at another time. Bye.